Hi hello, welcome to my channel, this is Emily. Today we are going to recap anime called Overlord Season 2. In the opening scene, one of the 13 heroes Rigret meets her friend called Platinum Dragon Lord. They chat about old days and most powerful being in the world. We get a glimpse that Dragon Lord fought with Shaltir when she was mind-controlled. He is afraid of her power and concerns about it. He asks Rigret to gather information on special items that are from Yggdrasil. He asks about her ring that can transcend human bounds. It was given to Chief Warrior Gazef. We sees him wearing it. King is in plan of war with Baharuth Empire. King is in problem maintain his status. He want to thank Ainz for saving the village. After that, they meet Princess Renner. She is going to wander out a bit. Now we see Ainz fighting giant basilisk. He cut off its head in one blow. After that he goes back to Nazarick to revive the data they gathered thus far. Their plan about construction of dummy Nazarick in the middle of Great Forest of Tomb is right on schedule. It was overseen by Lady Aura, one of Twin Elf. Sebas is collecting data in Riestai's kingdom capital. Demigur is conducting experiments in parchment production for magic scrolls. They end meeting with Concludus to be wary of slain theocracy that attacked Karn village. Later we are seen Shaltir is in depression and addicted to alcohol because she failed in mission and attacked Lord Ainz. She became more worried because Ainz didn't punish her. The assistant bolter Claire is comforting her, but sick with guilty. After hearing about these to pull out her Ainz is fixed to punish her. Cocytus meets Ainz in throne room, as he is in charge of Nazarick's first war in these world with the Lizardmen of Lake. We sees Lizardmen tribe of Lake. Coctius sends a message by control cloud magic, that death march upon them in 8 days and take over them. Lizardmen gather for a meeting and between running and fighting they choose to fight. It's not long, they fought inter-tribe war. It was due to food shortage. Their marsh is home for 7 tribes Green Claw, skilled hunters of Small Fang, best defensive capabilities of Razor Tail, war-loving Dragon Tusk, moderate Yellow Speckle, great fighters of Sharp Edge, priestly abilities Red Eye. All-out war among the 3 tribes took place and caused to crush the other tribes. Zaryusu suggests to join forces with other tribes to win the war. Despite of previous war, an alliance should be formed. He will be envoy to other tribes. Zaryusu goes to Red Eye village to talk on his pet Rororo. There he meets Red Eye tribe chief, a white lizard named Crush Lulu. It's love at first sight and propose her to marry him. She is quite surprised to hear that. He tries to touch her without asking, she refuses him. Coming out of it, Red Eye did not fight in last battle, they survived through cannibalism, eating their own people. It's a nightmare for her. Zaryusu comforts her. They form an alliance with each other. Next day, she covers her body with bush to protect her skin from sunlight. Together they go to meet Dragon Tusk tribe. Chief of Dragon Tusk tribe is Zembaru challenges Zaryusu for a fight to test his strength. If Zaryusu win he'll consider their alliance. Then the fight begins. Zaryusu carries a weapon called Frost Pain. It's one of the 4 great treasures of lizard men. In fight Zembaru punches Zaryusu in face with his paw and makes him bleed. Then he marches to attack on Zaryusu, but Zaryusu blocks his attacks with Frost Pain. Zembaru paw is affected from Frost Pain power, so Zembaru admit his defeat. Crush Lulu uses her healing magic to heal them both. Zaryusu explains that Frost Pain is a type of weapon that carries a chill in its blade, and delivers a small amount of cold damage to those struck by it. Before getting into business, they start to drink. While drinking, Dragon Tusk joins in. We see Zaryusu and others return to Green Claw tribe place because it was first to get attacked. They are preparing for battle. Chief of the Green Claw tribe Shasaryu Shasha welcomes them. They start to examine the scout report they gather. Enemy forces are roughly 5,000, most of them are zombies and undead. Coming to lizard men they are 1,300. They decide to take the enemy leader to win. To do that they form an elite force from every tribe. Meanwhile in dummy Nazarick, Cocytus sees what they are doing and command his forces to advance. As ordered by Ainz, Cocytus uses the only forces given to him and should monitor outcome of battle from dummy Nazarick without stepping in battle. As the battle starts both sides fight seriously, the elite unit waits for the leader to show up. Lizard men uses swamp elementals to gain upper hand. Cocytus underestimated the lizard men's morale, so out of desperation he calls for Demiurge and asks for advice as he is going to lose. Demiurge explains that perhaps these was a test and Lord Ainz wished to think for himself so he can't interfere. Demiurge wishes him an end call. Without any choice Cocytus sends Elder Lick Iguva to battlefield. Iguva start to scare the lizard men and they retreat. The elite squad comes out. To get close to Iguva, Zaryusu uses his pet Rororo as shield to his attacks. Even though Rororo gets hurt they able to reach to close enough and start to attack Iguva. They keep moving. Zembaru and others are fallen for Iguva's magic. Zaryusu gets wounded but manages to land a deadly blow and finishes him. Later at night everyone starts to celebrate and Zaryusu wakes up to see Crush sleeping on him. They look at each other and Zembaru disturbs them. Meanwhile in Nazarick Ainz assembles his guardians of each floor, even 8th floor guardian victim. They have yet to identify the foe who targeted Shaltir. Ainz plans to get powerful skill that is invoked by death of victim, and he'll use resurrection magic to bring him back. Ainz feels sorry for him, but victim feels it is pleasure to serve him. Ainz honors each guardians for their duties. Regarding Shaltir, he will punish her. Lastly, Cocytus begs for forgiveness, but Ainz asks him how he lose. Cocytus tells that he underestimated his foes. He learned these from enemies' strength, and lack of commanders is also a problem. As punishment, Ainz orders Cocytus to exterminate the lizard men, but Cocytus makes a request making them subordinates. Demiurge advice to use lizard men as governability experiment, as Ainz will rule many races in future. Ainz accept Demiurge proposal and shift plans from exterminating to occupying lizard men. Ainz explains to his guardians that orders are not to meant blindly obey and carry out. As punishment for Coctius, he'll govern lizard men and instill loyalty toward Nazarick within them. Rule through fear is forbidden. Ainz commands Albedo to ready soldiers and active Gargantua to put a hell of show in front of lizard men. Cocytus thanks Demiurge for helping him. Ainz comes to his room and falls on bed to feel relax. Starts to think that Cocytus took him by surprise. He can gain tactics and strategies through this experience, then these proves that everyone has potential to grow. Next day, in front of lizard men, an army of undead covered with magic equipment is appeared. Lizard men calls it a mythical undead army. Suddenly weather starts to change. Ainz comes out. By seeing him, lizard men are in shock. Ainz freezes the whole area with one spell, and lizard men are in total fear by seeing these. Start to run in fear. Seeing Gargantua, everyone is in shock. Gargantua throws a big block of rock in middle of lake. Lizard men lose all hope. Undead soldiers make steps to reach top of rock. A royal procession begins, and every guardian walking back of Ainz. Eventually Ainz sits on throne and calls lizard men for talk by sending some monsters. Shasha and Zaryusu comes to talk on behalf of lizard men. Demiurge makes them to kneel before Ainz. First, Ainz thanks them for assisting with his experiment and tells his desire to rule over them. In 4 hours Ainz will attack again. The attacker will be Cocytus all alone. To fight him, Ainz let lizard men to gather their troops. If they win, Ainz will leaves them alone forever. Ainz leave them alone by bidding farewell along with all guardians. In lizard men village only 5 will be fighting, and Crush Lulu will lead the village after their death. She rejects it and starts to cry by hugging Zaryusu, and asks him to make with her. In dummy Nazarick, Ainz is prepared to watch the battle and sits on Shaltir as punishment for her. Albedo is jealous by these. It's humiliation for Shaltir, but she enjoys it. Ainz look on lizard men preparations and sees Zaryusu and Crush Lulu having hormone sandwich. It's embarrassment for them to see. Later Cocytus gets into fight and waits for lizard men to attack. Their attacks didn't reach him and lizard men are killed. Lastly Zaryusu gets killed. After that, Cocytus meets Ainz and brings Crush Lulu along with him. Ainz offers a proposal for life of Zaryusu, her love of life. Ainz want her to keep an eye on lizard men from inside. Who would betray him? She obey him. Ainz resurrects Zaryusu and others. Zaryusu pledged his loyalty to Ainz. We see Sebas in capital purchasing a magic scroll from magician's Guled, and he goes around the city. While roaming in city, a woman is dumped out of brothel. Passing by, she catches leg of Sebas for help. Sebas remembers philosophy of touch me, decides to help her, take her, but was stopped by a man saying these brothel and women belongs to 8 Fingers, a group that controls these country from shadows. If Sebas takes her, they will hunt him, so Sebas gives money to that and says to leave the country. In his home, Solution asks him why he brought her. Sebas commands Solution to treat the women. Solution treat her wounds even though she doesn't like it. After some time, Sebas brought food for women. She is delighted and eat full of her stomach. Sebas promise her that she is out of danger. She starts to cry. Sebas comforts her by hugging. He wipes her tears and asks her name. She tells her name is Tuer. After these, Solution asks this need to be report to Ainz, but Sebas declined it, saying it's small matter. Later, Brain Ugalis having nightmare of fighting Shaltir. Brain was saved by Gazef from roadside while he was passing by. Brain Ugalis not forgot his fight with Shaltir and lost his heart as a fighter. After these, we see a group called Buell Rose of Adamantine class adventure group is burning of the 8 Fingers location. These group consist of twins Tia and Tina, magic caster Evil Eye, and fighter Gagarin and their leader Lachius. They got a lead on 8 Fingers. Later we see Climb bodyguard of Princess Renner practicing, then Gazef enters and talks with him and shares his experience with Ainz and how he became powerless in front of enemy. They spar with each other for some time. Then Climb goes to meet Princess. On the way he met with second Prince Zanuck and noble Marquis Revan. Zanuck calls Princess Renner as monster. Then Climb going into the room of Princess, a maid makes fun of him. Ignoring that, Climb goes to meet Princess and Lachius leader of Blue Rose is there. They sit and talk about 8 Fingers. Princess is the one who is behind the attack. They got information on 8 Finger bases in capital. They decide to raid on these 7 bases at a time. Later we see Sebas comes home. Tuer dress up as a maid greets him. She is afraid to go outside but Sebas make promise to her that no one will hurt you. She feels happy. Same time someone knocks on door. Havish, a constable, came with a person called Succulent. He claims Sebas made a slave trading, which is illegal in Kingdom. Solution lets Sebas deal these matter because she is not interested in it. They threat Sebas to return the girl by tomorrow or he will be in trouble. Sebas needs some time to think and goes outside. Meanwhile Solution calls to Ainz and tells about what happened. We see Brain going out. Later Climb meets other members of Blue Rose. He came to give message about raid on 8 fingers. After that they talk about their leader cursed sword Kilinarim. A powerful sword belongs to one of the 13 heroes. Topic is diverted on Mammon and his achievements as an adventure. They feel awesome about him. They goes to prepare for raid. Later Brain comes across a fight, an adult man kicking a boy. Nobody says anything but Sebas goes to help with unusual feat, which is noticed by Brain. Sebas takes care of everything. Climb comes and heals the boy with healing potion. Climb goes after Sebas to thank him and asks Sebas to teach him to get stronger. Sebas asks why he want to become stronger. Climb answer he want to protect Princess Renner and remembers how he was saved by her. By these Sebas got a rudimentary grasp of his personality. He warns that these training might kill him. Brain is watching all of these hiding. Climb says he is ready. Then Sebas uses his magic and tries to punch Climb. Initially frightened, remembering Princess, he can evade his attack. Sebas asks how he can overcome fear of death. Brian comes out from hiding and asks Climb how he did it. Climb remembers him as who fought Chief Warrior and came on top. Sebas explains that people can muster an unbelievable amount of power when it is for the loved ones. Climb encourages Brain to start over. Their conversation is interrupted by some assassins sent by Succulent. Sebas asks Climb and Brian to leave but they insist to fight. Sebas catches knives in mid-air. Both Climb and Brain was surprised. He take care of 3 people, while Brain and Climb take care of each. Sebas uses a skill called Palm of the Puppeteer. It makes the dead man to speak. Sebas decide to attack the brothel and Brian and Climb accompanies him. They reach brothel. Sebas decide to from front and Brain along with Climb attacks from back door. They decide to kill anyone as killing is unavoidable. Sebas breaks the door and enters. We see Havish having pleasure by punching a woman, then Sebas enters the room and slaps him continuously and kills him with 1 kick. From backside Brain and Climb enters and finds a secret door by using magic bells given by Garagan. Then Brain goes into a room and asks Climb to guard from outside. While waiting, Climb encounters Succulent comes out. Climb tries to fight him even he is not a match. Climb is pushed to corner by Succulent with his illusion magic. Climb gets his trick. Succulent actual arm and sword are turned invisible. He uses multiple vision to fight. Climb strikes him but he stabs from behind because it was illusion. Climb gets up even though wound is deep for Princess. He defeats Succulent from the move he learned from Gazef. Later Brain comes. Succulent tries to buy Brain but he refuses and start to fight. Brain finishes him in 1 strike, then Sebas enters the room. Brain is surprised because he couldn't detect him. They took control of brothel and Sebas says his goodbye and goes. Later Brain explains his day to Gazef and they talk about Sebas while drinking. Climb meet Princess and report to her about brothel. She express her joy. After Climb leave we see true Princess, who is evil. She kills a maid who made fun of Climb. Sebas returns to home. Solution says that Ainz is waiting for him. Sebas meet Ainz and Tuer comes in front of Ainz. He introduces himself as supreme leader of all, even Sebas. As punishment for Sebas he has killed that girl with his own hands. Sebas try to punch the girl in the last moment. Cocytus stops it and confirms that Sebas really tries to kill her. Ainz asks her full name and she says as Turaninya. Ainz let her make choice whether she want to wipe out her memory and leave her happy but she wants to stay with Sebas. Ainz conclude that she will be under his protection from now on. This protection is granted on the name of Ainz Ul Gaun. Ainz commands Sebas to return to Nazarick and gives him one last task before that. Sebas walks Tuer to her room and she kisses Sebas. After that Sebas goes out for the task leaving Tuer alone. Later we see Princess is planning to raid 8 Fingers base tonight, then Prince Zanuck and noble Marquis Revan comes to meet her. They know her true form and how she is obsessed with Climb and want to marry him. She is attacking 7 bases with soldiers of Marquis, and Gazef is also joining with them. Later Sebas returns home with Solution and Tuer is kidnapped by 8 Fingers. He asks Ainz for help and Ainz asks Albedo to send a team with Demiurge as leader to rescue Tuer. A team under Demiurge meets with Sebes and plan to execute 8 Fingers. Their plan consists of 2 parts, one is to rescue Tuer and other is Plan Gehenna. After first part Sebas with Tuer will return to Nazarick. We see Climb and others are prepared for raid. As short on numbers after raid on bases they should go to 8th base. We see Climb and Brain on outside of base and ready to attack. but they surprised to see Sebas. He explains that Tuer got kidnapped and decides to help Sebas. As Sebas goes from front, they go from back to rescue Tuer. Eight Fingers is waiting for Sebas and introduces themselves. They consist Malmvest, Edstrom, Pesherein, and Davernok. He boosts his Undead King. This rages Sebas and kills everyone with single punch. As the title Undead King belongs to Ainz only. As this is going on, Climb and Brain saves Tuer, then Brian got suspicious, but dismisses it. As going out, they encounter Zero, one of the Eight Fingers, then Brain and Zero engage in fierce fight while Climb and other take care of Succulent disguise as Tuer. This is the reason why Brain got suspicious. Then Sebas enters with Tuer and Zero want to kill Sebas for his friends. He uses all kind of enhancements to punch Sebas, but nothing happened. Then Sebas kills Zero with kick. Everyone is shocked. They comes out and Climb asks Sebas where they go. Sebas replies they will go far from capital. We see Mare in search of Hilma, one of Eight Fingers, in her mansion. He takes her with him by dragging, and Toma is taken care of Lima minions. After Mare left, Intoma is spotted by Garagan eating human. They engage in fight. Soon Garagan realizes that Intoma is powerful and Tia comes to her aid. Intoma uses her insects to fight, but together they are not matched for Intoma. As they are going to lose, Evil Eye comes to rescue them. Evil Eye uses insect killing magic and lets Intoma's face bug and lip bug die. Intoma reveals her true face. They team up against Intoma. After a long battle, finally Intoma is defeated. As they going to kill her, Demiurge appears covering his face with mask. Evil Eye realized he is strong. She fights with Demiurge to buy some time for others to run, but Demiurge kills Tia and Garagan with one blow. Suddenly Mammon drops from sky. Evil Eye introduces herself as Blue Rose member and asks Mammon to team to defeat Monster. Demiurge introduces him as Jaldabaoth and Ainz introduces himself as Mammon. Jaldabaoth explains he came for an powerful item in capital which can subjugate his kind and wants to recover it. They engage in fight. Evil Eye is amazed to see Mammon fight and fell for him. After a sometime, Jaldabaoth leaves and warns that soon enough he will encircle a part of city in flames and leaves. Later Mammon asks what Evil Eye is going to do with her dead friends. She says that their leader can use resurrection magic to bring back them. As for Mammon, he came to capital because Noble Makereven made a special request with high reward. They came here on floating board and he jumps in out of excitement and lands in between. Suddenly there are flames encircled a part of city. Everyone sees it. Princess Renner gathers all adventures and explains that these flames are like illusion, and low-level demons are other side of flames and people are captured. Evil Eye says about Jaldabaoth and how he killed their friends, but she calms down by showing Mammon. Everyone is getting ready to go in. Then we see Prince Zanuck and Princess are talking about Climb. Princess want Climb to die. Then she can use Lacheus Resurrection and make him her pet. Prince is afraid to see her real face. Soldiers and adventurers enter inside the flames and checks for people. Soldiers are afraid to fight monsters and Mammon appears and kills them. Everyone is in shock. Climb and Brain are tasked to rescue people. Suddenly Brain senses Shaltir and goes for her. We see Shaltir in white outfit. Brain tries to fight her while remembering everyone who helped him. Then he cut off her fingernail. While Shaltir is distracted, he runs away. Brain meets Climb and others, boast about what he did. We see Lacheus and others are fighting monsters. They are overwhelmed, but suddenly Gazef comes along with King to protect his people. Then they fight together. Battle maids are here to help Demiurge. Mammon goes to fight with Jaldabaoth. Nabe takes 3 and Evil Eye fights with Alpha and Delta. She is having tough time to fight as they are strong. Nabe and others watch from corner. We see Demiurge explains his plan to Ainz, as this will benefit them in 4 ways. First is they can have all the materials in capital storehouses. Second, this incident will cover their attack on 8 Fingers. Third is they got item called Armageddon Evil which can cast 10th tier magic. Lastly, humans they captured will be used for experiments in Nazarick. Ainz feels nothing about killing humans. Ainz tells to Demiurge to kill people with less pain. For these success, Ainz gifts Demiurge with prototype of same item created by one of guild member. Demiurge accepts it with joy. We see Brain and Climb saves people who are locked in storehouse. Then Mammon defeats Jaldabaoth but not kills him. Then Jaldabaoth left with warning that he will come again. Everyone is happy to win. Later Marky and Blue Rose thanks Mammon for helping them and Mammon goes to Arantel. We see 8 Fingers is taken over by Ainz and they are submissive because of torture. While in Nazarick, Tuer joins as new maid. This is the end of Season 2. See you in Season 3.